Well, my name is John Coopersmith, and I am running for Tillamook County Commissioner, position number 1. Me and 5 other candidates, I tell my friends that people will have a choice in the election. And I moved to Tillamook in 1976. I enjoy it greatly. I served on the Tillamook City Council from 1989 to 2004. One of the things I'm most proud of in my service on the City Council is that people that have lived here for a while, when the former McGregor's closed, another councilor, Dick White, and I suggested that we buy that property and hold it for another large retail development in the downtown city of Tillamook area, which we did. We didn't want to see that property divided into smaller uses. So the city did go ahead and purchase that property, and eventually that became part of the Safeway site, the current Safeway site downtown. So I was real happy we were able to secure that property, and eventually Safeway returned to downtown Tillamook. I was on the council when we instituted urban renewal. That has proven to be a beneficial development for the city of Tillamook. I'm active in the Kiwanis, and I'm a past president of the Tillamook Kiwanis, past Kiwanis of the Year, past exalted ruler of the Elks. I currently serve as an elected director of the North County Recreation District. I'm on the City of Nehalem Planning Commission, and I'm president of our church's United Methodist Men. I believe my background in business, I'm a real estate broker. I've been a realtor since 1980, and I believe my background in business will help bring a perspective to the county commission that will be helpful in terms of looking at economic development, which I think is one of the primary issues of this campaign. We're in a steep recession, and we need some economic development. I think my expertise in public service and in private business will serve well on the Tillamook County Commission. I think my background in business and in public life will make a combination that will be an asset for the county. I work well with others. If you speak to anyone that knows me, I am a collaborative person. You never know. I like to say that you never know where the next good idea is going to come from. I believe there's a reason that we listen. We listen to what people have to say. We look for good ideas, and we try to move forward. I think the main issue in this election is economic development for our county. We're blessed with a robust dairy industry that has been an economic bedrock for Tillamook County. We have a good timber industry. We have tourism. We want to protect those industries. We want to see them thrive. We do the best we can to ensure them to grow. We want to look for new ideas, new industries that could come into the area and provide family wage jobs for our people. One idea that I don't know, I'm not an expert in this, but one idea that might have some fruit for Tillamook County are these internet server data farms that are being built now in the Northwest, in Oregon. Facebook has built one. Apple will be building one. The characteristics that these industries look for are abundant power, inexpensive power. They look for a temperate climate. They want to be located in an economic enterprise zone. Tillamook is a designated economic enterprise zone. Will that work for us? I don't know. But they are being built here. They want to be located in the Northwest. We should attempt to bring one to Tillamook. They're not large job generators. However, they do generate between 40 and 70 jobs. They're family wage jobs, and for Tillamook County, that's a good number. Let's give it a try. This May, in the primary election, funding for the Tillamook County Library System will be on the ballot. The renewal of the current operating levy is expiring. It will be on the ballot. I will be voting for that measure. It's not easy to vote for taxes anytime. And in a recession, it's even more difficult. I believe a robust library system is vital for the well-being of the citizens of Tillamook County. I would submit it's also an economic development issue because the library offers services not just for one segment of the population, but the entire population. If you need reference material, if you need to explore a question, the library is there to help you. That is the home of the great books. It's important that we have that facility open and available to all people. And so I would be supporting that levy. Are there alternative methods of funding the Tillamook County Library System other than property taxes? That is a worthy question. I think we should always consider other alternatives because you don't know what might be out there that could work, that could help. May not provide the entire answer, but could provide part of the answer. However, whatever funding source is looked at, the cost of library services to the public, in my opinion, must be free. A free public operating library system is a core value. I believe in it. However, I am open to discussion of other funding mechanisms other than property taxes. A functional road system, transportation system for our county is vital to the well-being of the citizens, for the well-being of our economy. We need to get our goods to market. We need to get the milk into the creamery. We need to get the timber into the mill. We need to get people. They have doctor's appointments. We need to have a functioning road system. I've lived in Tillamook County since 1976. We have had a number of measures on the ballot to support roads. We've had gas taxes, we've had property taxes. They've gone down, been defeated at the ballot box, usually by 2-1, sometimes 3-1, but usually 2-1. The last levy that was on the ballot in this steep recession only lost by, I believe, 3%, 53-47. So I think what that shows is that people realize we must maintain our road system and the point of fact is the system is in deterioration. Historically, Tillamook County has funded the road department through timber revenue from the federal forest. This is primarily gone by the wayside at this time. I think timber harvest on the Susalaw National Forest and BLM lands in Tillamook County is about 5 to 8% of its historical levels. So we have to look at other ways to fund the road. The Citizens Committee that was looking at this issue did a good job in terms of looking at different options. Some options to fund the road system are the property tax, a gas tax. Some people have suggested a room tax. There's been different options, but it has to be something that will raise an appropriate amount of revenue to do the job, to fund the roads, to repair them, to keep them in operating. And frankly, if I was drawing up the proposal, I would look at more than one source. I think we need a property tax to do it, but I would like to look at the gas tax. The city of Tillamook has a gas tax, so we would have to work with the cities and how that revenue is divided. I think it's worth the effort to have that conversation with the cities to see if a proposal could be crafted that looks at more than one source to fund the roads. Tillamook County is blessed by being a county that fronts the Pacific Ocean. There's a lot of benefit to that. People tend naturally to go to the ocean. They enjoy the ocean. It's a good thing. They like to recreate there. People earn their living there. Now we are looking at ways to perhaps generate some renewable energy there, and that has to be carefully considered, how that's set up, how that energy is obtained. They have important considerations for other users of the ocean. Right now, at this time, the Oregon legislature and the governor has signed a marine reserve bill. That was a controversial bill here in Tillamook County. It passed overwhelmingly in the legislature. It is the law now. There's going to be a time period of a study done of what the marine resources that exist in those areas are, so a baseline population is understood, and then over time it's going to be important to measure the results of that, because there will be costs. Fishers who currently harvest resources in those marine reserves will be precluded from doing that in the future. That will have an impact on their livelihood. Offshore energy is an infant industry. They are definitely in the mode of experimentation or development of how energy might be generated. Some benefits would be the renewable energy. Things to keep in mind are protection of the viewshed. People recreate in our area because one reason is they enjoy the view. They don't come to the coast to look out and see windmills. And I believe the proposals are that these windmills would be located 12 miles or so off the shore so they won't be in the view. So that has to be assured. But there's a number of ways they're looking at generating this energy. There's the windmills, there's something called an oyster where wave action will generate power. One aspect that needs to be thoroughly vetted is the security of these devices during times of severe storms. If we have another storm like we had in 2007 with hurricane force winds, we don't want these energy devices coming ashore, breaking loose, and causing problems for our shore communities. So there's many aspects that must be thoroughly looked at before we go forward, as I see it. However, the end result of renewable energy is worthwhile. What needs to be done is a thorough vetting of it being done safely, with a minimal impact on our marine industries that we currently have and our tourism industry. We need to go forward. We need to discuss this. Research needs to take place to find the best ways to move ahead. For a resource-centered county such as Tillamook, land use is an important issue. It's a critical issue because many industries and ways of life key on land use. Obviously, there's environmental concerns, preservation and improvement of our watersheds, preservation and improvement of fish runs. Estuary health is a key part of that. Key industry in our area, a bedrock industry for our area is farming, dairy. In my opinion, we must preserve and protect our farmland. We must keep an open door to the dairy industry, the farming community, to hear what their concerns are. We need to protect our farmland. An issue involved with that is the Oregon State Forest. When I first moved here, people referred to it as the Tillamook Burn because of a series of devastating fires. It is the Tillamook State Forest now. It's growing, it provides multiple use, provides important family wage timber jobs for our people, a stream of revenue for local taxing districts. The Neocani School District funds the schools with state timber revenue. That's important. But we have, in my opinion, enough timberland, or I should say forest land, that we should be able to manage them for the watershed quality, for preservation and expansion of fishing runs, and maintaining the sustainable timber revenue all together, including recreation. Many people recreate in the Tillamook State Forest. Really, I believe in balance. We need to look at land use in Tillamook County as a critical issue in terms of preservation of our natural resources, preservation of critical industries such as tourism, such as fishing, such as timber and dairy. I believe we have the land base to accomplish that. Wise decisions must be made. All stakeholders must be listened to, and a reasoned approach must be taken. an ongoing issue and problem in particularly in Tillamook, the Tillamook Basin, and actually in Nehalem and Pacific City as well, is flooding. We get a lot of rain. When we get a rapid snowmelt, high tides, holds up the drainage into the bay, and rain, water goes up, we have that bathtub effect where it just backs up and floods. One thing I'm proud of in my term of office on the city council was I was a part of the process that took the Belts Farm at the end of Goodspeed Road, and some tide gates were built there, some small streams were opened up to increase drainage and access to the bay. Did not solve the problem, but I believe that those tide gates do help. Going forward, in the recent past, there was an effort called Oregon Solutions to mitigate flooding in the basin. There's been some success there. There's been some controversy in terms of land use, and frankly, I would have to go back and reread the record and get up to speed on that. I don't know all the answers on that. And if I don't know the answer, I'd rather say I would get more information. Now, over time, one solution that has been put forward was to do some dredging of the mouths of the rivers to increase drainage into the bay. And historically, that has been what has occurred. But starting about 30 years ago, those permits were no longer available, primarily because concern of impact on fisheries, on spawning grounds. There was, I think 15, maybe 20 years ago, there was a permit issued by the state of Oregon to do some dredging on, I believe, I'm not sure if it was the Kilchis or the Wilson, but the permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife could not be obtained. So I don't know the answer on that. It is a problem. I think it would be wise to curtail development in areas that consistently flood based on experience. There was a recent flood map issued by FEMA that was a bone of contention because local experience was that some of the areas identified in that map as prone to flooding did not in fact flood. So I would look to get more information, again, hear from many sources, and try to work cooperatively with the stakeholders to see what can be done to alleviate or help alleviate flooding in the Tillamook area, where there's a ton of water that comes through. How can it be dealt with? Many of our levees, frankly, need maintenance. How do you do that? Funding is a problem. I'm open to ideas. There's some issues facing our county in terms of the budget process. Basically, of course, there's two aspects of budgeting. There's revenue and expenditures. On the revenue side, with the curtailment of timber harvest in the federal forests, which has been with us now for about 20 years, the federal government has been making payments to counties in a measure, I believe the name is the Rural Schools Funding Act, and that's in lieu of tax, or in lieu of timber revenue. Now, this rural schools money, frankly, is a direct drain on the federal budget. There's no revenue or income to supply it, so it does impact the federal budget, and that is not a good thing in Washington, particularly at this time. People are looking for ways to cut budgets, to cut deficits, and this Rural Schools Funding Act, which takes the place of federal timber revenue in areas such as Oregon, has expired. And unless it is renewed, that funding will go by the wayside. Currently, our road department is receiving about $600,000 from this Rural Schools Act. I don't know how much the schools get, but it's going to impact us. This is one reason why Representative Schrader and DeFazio and Walden have put forward a proposal to create a trust approach in managing federal O&C lands, where a portion of the land is put forward into environmental trust to be managed for environmental outcomes, and a portion of the land would be put over into multiple use, including sustainable timber harvest, which would, two things. One, provide, frankly, thousands of family wage jobs in Oregon and revenue for the local areas. Looking at the issue of Tillamook County and the budget process, if the secure rural schools funding does in fact go away as it is scheduled to, I don't know of a way to make up for that hole in the road fund. So I have no doubt that the county will be going to the voters again to see if they want to provide some funding for the roads. In terms of increasing revenue for the county, I would not be in favor of any other tax measures. The only one would be a proposal for funding roads. So if revenue goes down because of this, I would look at a road measure, and that would be it. If we had to cut spending, that money would be coming out of the road fund. At this time, I believe that would be the area that we would look at cutting. That is, I would need to look at the budget. I believe the money, as far as the county, I'm talking about county government is concerned, goes to the road fund, and I believe that would be the impact as far as the county government is concerned. There are two major issues facing the county that I would like to discuss. One is the federal forest in Tillamook County. For the last 20 years, cuts or timber harvest has been about 5 to 8% of historical measures. Historically, those forests were overcut. So we don't want to go back to the old ways. We want to have environmental values. There is a way to do that. There's in Tillamook County, there's approximately 150,000 acres of federally managed forest land there, and I believe that the Schrader, DeFazio, Walden proposal is a way forward. It may not be the answer. There has to be hearings on their proposal. We need to vet it. Their proposal essentially calls for a two-track system. One, land set aside that has environmental importance, such as species preservation, such as water quality in watersheds, and also land set aside for multiple use, including sustainable timber harvest. I believe that this is a way forward to cut what I call the Gordian knot of federal forest management, and I'm glad that they did this, and I believe it needs to be vetted. I believe it may be a way forward. I know it would create thousands of sustainable family wage jobs in the area and provide stable funding for local governments. Another issue, also important, is emergency preparedness. We live in an area that is prone to we live in an area that is prone to emergencies, flooding. We had hurricane force winds in '07. We know about the Cascadia subduction zone off our coast. We need to, as a government, need to provide information to our people so they can prepare for an emergency, how to survive, how to help their neighbor. Tillamook County has a strong history of helping each other, helping our neighbor. We need to provide the information. We need to encourage local groups to form, such as the Emergency Volunteer Corps in the Nehalem area, to assist, when requested, emergency responders in terms of helping each other survive disasters. So I believe that's important. We need to do that. I want to thank the Headlight Herald for providing this forum for voters to get more information about the commissioner candidates, what they are thinking, what answers they might have, what questions they might ask. So I want to thank the Headlight Herald for that. I would ask voters to look at my website, friendsofjohncoopersmith.com. My contact information is there. If voters have any questions for me, please contact me. I ask for your support and your vote in the May primary election.